All right, welcome everyone. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Ms. Perry, can you please call the roll for us?
Mayor Berry,
Here.
Vice Mayor Dalton,
Here.
Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey, Commissioner Phillips,
Present.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Here.
All right. For today's invocation, please join me in a moment of silence to reverently collect our thoughts, pray, and ready ourselves for this meeting and the duties to which we have been called. Thank you. Today, we have troop number 40178 with us, and I would like to welcome Miss Emmy Avelis to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item of business is consideration of the minutes for approval or correction for our October 1st, 2024 work session. Any corrections?
No.
If not, do I have a motion to approve as written? I have a motion from Commissioner Phillips and a second from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. And next is, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our October 1st, 2024 regular commission meeting minutes. Any corrections? If not, do I have a motion to approve as written?
I'll move.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Dalton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Wilkinson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. For my mayor's report today, I want to remind everyone that our next Food Truck Friday is this Friday, October 18th at Red Bank City Park from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Enjoyed live music from Luke Simmons and the Love Struck, and beverages from Clever Ale House, and food from America Runs on Pizza, Chowder-Tater, Windy City Eats, Culturelicious, and Joyful Hearts Cafe. On October 25th will be our next community movie night at the Red Bank Community Center. Doors open at 6, and the movie, Hocus Pocus, begins at 7. Dinner and dessert food trucks will be parked outside, and free popcorn is inside while supplies last, and costumes are encouraged. The next Red Bank Community Food Pantry is Thursday, October 17th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. You can sign up to volunteer at their sign-up genius at redbankfoodpantry.org. And since this is the last meeting before Halloween, if you are looking for a traditional door-to-door trick-or-treat experience, I just want to let you know I've met quite a few neighbors recently on Tacoma and Redding behind the pickleball courts who are ready with candy and decorations and looking forward to seeing trick-or-treaters in their neighborhood. So keep an eye out for that. And I think Ashmore as well is a hopping spot.
We're hopping.
Yeah, of course. Welcome anywhere in Red Bank, but those
What are y'all
streets
giving away down
are
there?
the hot spots.
Austin.
Yes. If anybody is giving away full-size candy bars, then now's your time to speak up.
Might be worth
That's right. And now we are on to our report from Vice Mayor Dalton.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome, everyone, and our special guest from Girl Scouts. I'll start with, I hadn't planned to talk about this, but I ended up taking my son to the Chattanooga Public Library earlier today, and we were on the 4th floor makerspace. And when we were leaving, we talked to a lady downstairs, and she found out that we lived in Red Bank, and she said, "Oh, did you get one of the Red Bank library cards?" And we said, "No, we already had one through the school system." And she said, "Well, everybody is coming in with getting their new library cards, and they are so excited about it and very grateful to have that access." So I just wanted to share that very good, happy news story that our residents are very excited about this and looking forward to getting more cards out before the end of the year. Our Active Older Adults program will be holding a special presentation with David Nagel of Legal Aid of East Tennessee at the Red Bank Community Center this Thursday, October 17th at 9 a.m. He'll be providing an overview of legal services available and answering questions following the presentation. Also this Thursday, the 17th, White Oak Bicycle Co-op will be holding a bicycle donation drive in partnership with Talk Radio 102.3. They'll be hanging out at the Be Caffeinated here in Red Bank from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. collecting bike donations ahead of the holiday season, which is when they do get a lot of requests for new bikes for children who don't have them. We also, I will say, since we aren't meeting again until after November 1st, we do have one more Food Truck Friday event of the year on Friday, November 1st. That will be our last one of the season, so just mark your calendars for that. The Meeting House will be hosting a fall clothing swap on October 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. during their open Wednesday nights. You can bring clothes that you want to swap with other neighbors, particularly fall and winter clothes, and enjoy some local coffee and pastries at a Red Bank business while you're at it. We're officially 3 weeks away from Election Day. Early voting for the November 5th election starts tomorrow, October 16th, and goes through Thursday, October 31st. So if you feel like it, you could get dressed up in costume and vote on Halloween. And the deadline to request an absentee ballot is October 29th. You can go to elect.hamiltontn.gov for more info. And lastly, the Red Bank Community Fair will be held on Tuesday, October 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. The event is hosted by Red Bank High School and will be set up along the track outside or around the football field. There will be job, educational, and social support agency resources, as well as 2 food trucks, free games and prizes for kids, a trunk or treat hosted by Red Bank High School students, and 2 bounce houses. So it's a family event, and I hope to see all of you there. Thank you.
Next, we have our report from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey.
Thank you. Welcome this evening for being on this cold evening, I might add. To piggyback on what Vice Mayor Dalton has said, the election is coming up, and for Red Bank, the reminder is vote for 2. There are Tennessee state senators, representative races, as well as the presidential election. Be informed, be active as you cast your vote, be it early or the day of. Vote for who most agrees with your values for government policies. Red Bank High School Lions compete away this week at Bradley County. Then the last 2 games will be at home against arch rival Hickson. And then, I don't know how they're doing this, but they're going to play Halloween night against Loudon.
Oh.
So I suppose, I don't know if the football team will be in just their uniforms, but I'm sure the guests will be decorated or in costume for Halloween. But yes, to piggyback again for the radio hosting at Be Caffeinated at Dayton Plaza for White Oak Bicycle. Jed and JR are delightful, I call them DJs, the morning show. They're great to listen to, have a lot to say about the community. So they will be in Red Bank with the Wienermobile. Heard the Oscar Mayer Wiener, heard that this morning. Community fair, yes, October 29th. And then mark your calendars for the Red Bank Christmas Festival and Parade Saturday. It's a Saturday this year. December 14th from 3 to 8 for shopping, eating, and fun. Sandra is here. She is part of the committee as well. As the next commission meeting is in 5 weeks on November 19th, feel free to contact me anytime for conversation through the Red Bank website or a face-to-face opportunity. Next and last Listen and Learn of the year will be next Monday. So it's after this commission meeting at Sabor from 6 to 7 p.m. Thank you.
Next, we have our report from Commissioner Phillips.
Well, this one will pretty much sum up my whole last 4 years here. This will be probably the next report we'll have to put in the next city council up here. And it's been a pleasure to serve. It's always not been fun, but it has been a pleasure to serve. And thank you for electing me to serve for you guys. I've been a resident here for about 20 years. I've owned a business here for 25 years. And I've watched the good and the bad And I've seen what happens when we did not invest in our city. And I've seen what happens in the negative connotation that our city had at that time. We were Red Bankistan, drive through Red Bank, the police will they'll get you and all that stuff. To now we have a professional police department. It's also called Dead Bank. Now we're one of the hottest spots in town. The traffic cameras, they're just using those traffic cameras for incomes. And I remember I could walk across my street at any time to go get a haircut across the street, and they don't even hardly have to look. Well, you can't do that anymore. They accused us of having poor leadership, and I don't know if that was true or not. I think a lot of it was just poor communication. And I see us communicating. I'm getting my flyers in the mail. We know when our trash days are. And I think that has improved significantly. We have the iWorks things. I get my reports from the directors, and now Greg he can give us data that we need on that. I'd still like to see some other things, such as some maintenance on our fleet vehicles and things like that. But it is a growing process. But when we came in and we toured the facility, the mechanic had brought his own personal computer and had it on an Excel spreadsheet to do his maintenance programs, because we didn't have the investment to even put into our fleet maintenance. And then I've also have been fortunate to see, after we have put a little investment into our community, we replaced a pump truck that had been in service since before Reagan was elected. Correct?
Yes.
Now we have turnout gear. I don't know if anybody knows the testicular cancer rates for firefighters is like how much is it? Is it 10 times?
It's considerably.
Yeah, considerably more. So we provided them an extractor so they can wash their suits. We put them another set of turnout gear to help reduce these risks. We had people working here for $9 an hour. And if you kind of wonder where a lot of the pay rate, the tax went to, it went straight to our employees. We've been balancing the budget for years off the backs of our employees. We wouldn't give them raises. And we made them kind of work with what they had, because this is what you get. We've been able to hire some top quality talent. Leslie, Michael, Jeff, who we just learned today are also the ones that find out where our grant funding come from. We've also don't have enough to do a lot of investments, such as the library, curbside recycling that we did not be able to get. Our police chief is still our IT director. I'd like to see that change. So I don't think that we could do that with kind of less. We're at a 1.67 millage rate. Half of our communities are more expensive than us. Half of them are less expensive than us. And those also have Walmarts and Bass Pro Shops to generate their sales tax. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't want a Walmart in our community when I go across the street and go get it at somewhere else. We don't have that big of a community. When you're developing and you don't have anybody at City Hall to go talk to, and you don't know where to go, and it's like, hey, I've got an idea and I want to put these things in. Now we have staff that we can bring forward to talk to those developers, because we're not going to invest in our community. How can we ask another man to invest in our community? We also need somebody to talk to DDOT. We also need somebody to talk to TDEC, to WTA. And when Martin comes to me with that massive tax increase, it was a hard swallow. I didn't like it. I went over it. We fought over it. He shaved some, but not much. But it was one of those things. I made that decision with the information that I had and the trust of the public that put in me and elected me in this position. And I'm not going to I won't be courageous enough to stand up for what I think needs to be done for our community. Now, it's not an easy thing to do, sit up here and just get berated for 8 hours and everybody knows everything about you. And they know what your agenda is, and they put a lot of labels on it. And we've got 4 citizens that are running for our city spot up here, and I hope that you treat them a lot better than we've been treated on that. They're all fine people. They're not enemies. Jeff, Katie, and Stephanie, and Terry, they're all fine people who are willing to serve their community. And you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like me. You don't have to love me, and you can love to hate me. But I just want you to know I've done what I thought was best for the community every single time. We've got a lot of exciting things. The old Shoney's is going to be locally done, and I signed a lease the other day on my property that we'll be having a new place come in. They'll start at the beginning of the year. So there's a lot of investment. People are willing to put the investment in here because we're willing to invest in us. And I appreciate the time served. The next report, we'll just introduce the new council. And I hope that you all keep our goals. And no matter who sits up here, I believe there's 5 things that we could all agree on to work on. And it's not a personality. It's a city we run. And we're very fortunate to have a professional city manager who can spot talent, understands what we need, and make those adjustments within the budget that we have. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you all for coming. And it's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Well, thank you for your service, Commissioner Phillips. I know you'll be here at our next meeting, though.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, finally, we have our last commissioner report from Commissioner Wilkinson.
Okay. Well said, Commissioner Phillips. It's an honor serving with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't have an update, but I will say that my family and I just got back from North Carolina yesterday to see my cousin get married. So congratulations, Abby. You're probably not watching this, but she's in Jamaica.
Fair enough.
But it is a huge relief to be home. It's a great place to call home. So, we're all up here. It's effectively a volunteer position, and we want to see our community thrive. So that's why we're doing it. But we'll get on to it. Let's have a meeting.
All right. Next we have our report from our city manager, Mr. Martin Granum.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. An update on a few topical subjects. As a reminder, due to the election, there will be no commission meeting on Tuesday, 5 November. The next Red Bank Commission meeting will be Tuesday, 19 November. I am frequently asked for an update on the Hawthorne at White Oak Apartments, the former Save-A-Lot, if you will. So last week I reached out to a principal at Rice Partners who was happy to share with me that all is well with the White Oak development. They are working through typical plan review, financing, and bid processes, and are looking forward to a groundbreaking in the not very distant future. He added it is going to be a special project and they appreciate everyone's patience. Please check out our Facebook page and see the recent post regarding the replacement of 46 stormwater grates with bike safe grates. And I took the liberty of putting a few pictures up here. This was the situation at 46 different spots on both northbound and southbound, really the length of Dayton Boulevard. As you can see, some people call them bike holders. But they're not a good scenario. So Tracy, if you'll go to the next slide. There we have it. 46 bike safe replacement stormwater grates have been installed. All those ones you saw in the previous slide are gone. Kudos to our Public Works Stormwater Division. And we even have a member of the Stormwater Division in the House. And I'm sure it's a proud moment for him and his colleagues in that small but mighty stormwater division within our Public Works Department. So great leadership, Greg. Kudos to your team. Lastly, please note that city offices will be closed Monday, 11 November in observance of Veterans Day. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Granum. We have no unfinished business today, so we're moving directly to new business. And our first item of new business is a public hearing on ordinance number 24-1265, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee, amending the zoning ordinance and maps of this city to rezone property located at 107 Cartwright Street from R1A residential to RTZ residential townhouse 0 lot line pursuant to certain conditions. First reading, Director Johnson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The applicant is Mr. Gordon Holgan. He is also the property owner and a general contractor. His desire is to build 3 attached townhomes on a currently vacant corner lot, with their new access will be located with an address on Red Oak Drive. The property is located just inside WWPA sewer moratorium. However, the applicant is fully aware of his responsibility in obtaining the necessary approvals for a sewer connection prior to a building permit being issued by the City of Red Bank. As recommended unanimously by the Planning Commission and by planning staff, the proposed RT zoning is in harmony with similar applications of the RT zoning applications in the past and with similar multifamily use structures in the neighborhood. The Planning Commission did recommend the added condition of limiting the number of units to no more than 3. However, given the size of the parcel and with the adopted regulations that do dictate setback and use of property, this appears to be an unnecessary effort. So it would be my recommendation that the condition be removed, the rezoning be allowed to move forward as it stands.
So we would potentially a motion to approve without condition
Correct.
or remove the pursuant to certain condition.
Correct. That would be my recommendation.
Okay. All right. So any questions for Director Johnson before we start the public hearing? Okay, and the applicant is present?
It's my understanding he may have a representative here, but timing was that he was out of town. But he did express his interest in the property and his regrets he could not be in attendance this evening.
Okay, but we need the applicant present for a
We
public
have a
hearing.
written policy that for a zoning change and for the public hearing, that the owner or the owner or a representative must be present.
So shall we postpone the public hearing for the second and final reading perhaps?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we can do that.
Because it was
It has
publicly
to be,
noticed.
you have to have a gap of time between the public hearing of more than 15 days.
The notice.
Oh, our next meeting's not until
Yeah,
November
because
19th.
The notice is for tonight.
Right, but we don't have a meeting again until November 19th, so we would have time this time to
You have to republish.
If there's not a representative here, then I would recommend that it be tabled. We'll
Okay.
move it to the November 19th.
The entire item or just the public hearing? Because we could still do the first reading and vote and postpone the public hearing only. Is that correct,
I will
Mr.
refer to the
Stolz?
City attorney for that.
As long as you've got enough enough time between the publication of the notice and the second reading.
They're asking if we can go ahead with the first reading.
Yeah.
Without the public hearing this time. Okay.
Mayor,
Yes,
I just kind of wonder that we publish this and all that stuff, so there might be people here that want to, and I think it's kind of
Which they still would.
pulling their
Right.
chain, if you will.
they'll still have the opportunity to
Okay.
speak because anytime we read any ordinance or resolution, we have a custom to invite anyone to speak who wants to speak on that topic prior to a vote. It's just that the formal public hearing can't proceed without the applicant present. So it's the formal public hearing procedure that would take place on November 19th. But if anyone is here to speak about 107 Cartwright Street, you can still comment and your comments will still be recorded in our minutes. Is everyone here, is everyone present? All of our commissioners okay with postponing a public hearing for the November 19th meeting?
Sure.
Do we need to make a,
Subject to adequate notification.
right, do we need to make a motion to that effect or is that,
Sure.
okay?
To be certain.
Okay, can I get a motion to postpone the public hearing on the rezoning of 107 Cartwright Street for November 19th, subject to proper notice?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Vice Mayor Dalton and a second from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we will proceed with the first reading of ordinance number 24-1265. So we're skipping through the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to approve ordinance 24-1265, the rezoning of 107 Cartwright Street from R1A residential to RTZ residential, without condition?
I'll move.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Dalton. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Phillips. Any further discussion of the board?
I do.
Please.
Go ahead.
Did you
Do
have a comment?
it. Well, yeah, I was wanting to discuss a little bit. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
On the scheduled commission meeting, might that date be changed from October 15th to November 19th?
Within the ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will be changed.
On the printed version, yes,
Okay.
it would now show the
November 19th.
meeting of the 19th.
Okay.
November 19th.
Thank you. All right, that's
It
my
will then show.
thank you.
All right, Commissioner Phillips?
Well, this is one of those of, going towards our density kind of thing that's worked within our things. That why staff was okay with that. All right, and then, again, I'd like to give anybody that was here to, an opportunity to comment also that were,
Of course,
so that,
as long as the commission has had any discussion they want to have.
yeah.
Okay, then in that case, is there any comments from the residents present regarding the rezoning of 107 Cartwright Street? Please come forward and give your name and address. And you'll have a timer for 3 minutes to say whatever you'd like.
I'm Sandy Jenkins, 307 Regal Drive, around the corner from the proposed zoning change. And I'm just here to see, are there any renderings? Is this going to fit into our neighborhood?
Ms. Johnson, are you comfortable answering that at this
We
moment?
do, I'm happy to share that with you. Yes.
Any other comments, Ms. Jenkins?
And I also want to know how many units, and I think she answered that question with 3. There would be no more than 3 units. Is that correct?
Based on the size of the parcel and the setback requirements for the RTZ, yes, that would direct the maximum of 3 units.
Okay, very good. I'm cool.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else present who would like to speak on the rezoning of 107 Cartwright Street?
I'm not really familiar with the zoning ordinance. I was looking up the one in Chattanooga. But are we requiring off the street parking?
Oh, I'm sorry, give your name and address
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry,
record.
Alan Jolly, 3606 Underwood Terrace. Is off the street parking required?
Oh, she needs your name and
Alan
address.
Jolly, A-L-A-N. 3606 Underwood Terrace.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I was just curious, as part of the zoning ordinance, what like parking requirements there would be, if any, if you're gonna have the 3 units there. Or is off the street parking required, or, so that's basically it.
Ms. Johnson, are you comfortable answering that?
Sure. I'm happy to. Yes. It is not a requirement based on this density. They will be obligated to provide on-site parking themselves.
Okay, so they will have to provide
They're not
enough
parking on
parking
their
that
property.
people could park off the street.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, any other comments on the rezoning of 107 Cartwright Street? Okay, so just as a reminder, we are planning a public hearing, a formal public hearing on this at our next meeting on November 19th. So please do come to that if you feel like it. But if you have spoken today, your comments have been noted and recorded. Okay, if there are no more comments from the residents present, then this is an ordinance. So Ms. Perry, will you please call the vote for us?
Mayor Barry,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Yes.
Motion carries on first reading. Next item of business is ordinance number 24-1266, an ordinance of the city of Red Bank, Tennessee to amend the fiscal year 2025 operating budget beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 in order to appropriate unbudgeted expenditures and grant funding for the general fund in the amount of $132,226.35 and the solid waste fund in the amount of $52,233.90. And I'll turn it over to our CFO, Ms. Pickle. Good evening.
This ordinance is to amend the budget, so that way we can send it to the state. Both the items were previously approved in the previous meeting. So this is just simply to amend the budget to reflect that we have appropriated both the expenditures and the revenue for these two items.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Pickle? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll move.
We have a motion
I'll
from
second.
Commissioner Wilkinson. We have a second from Commissioner Phillips. Any further discussion? Any comments from the residents present? If there are no more comments, then Ms. Perry, will you call the roll for us?
Mayor Barry,
Yes?
Vice Mayor Dalton,
Yes.
Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkinson.
Yes.
Motion carries on first reading. Next item is resolution number 24-1743, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee to adopt a revised and updated drug and alcohol testing policy. Ms. Perry?
Again, this is a policy that was put into effect in 1997, and we're just doing an overall policy review, and it's time to update this one to change some of the requirements of who needs to be drug tested when, how often we're doing it, who's getting drug tested. Drug testing is a requirement for sub-grant applications, and I'm sorry, I lose my train of thought. And it gives us a discount on our insurance because of Tennessee Drug-Free Workplace Act.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that a little bit in our work session, that having this policy in place will save us money on our insurance. You said workers' comp and general liability.
Which are not small numbers.
Did you also say it makes us eligible for certain grants as
There are
well?
certain grants that do require us to have this policy in place.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that it's in print, that it helps employees who are not just our city, but the individual, all around for the department.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner, yes, thank you for highlighting that, Commissioner. We are aimed to be an employer of choice. And for employees who do get in trouble with substance abuse, this policy offers help. And so that is an important component of that. Thank you for highlighting that, Commissioner.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
We have a motion from Commissioner Fairbanks Harvey. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Vice Mayor Dalton. Any further discussion? Just well done to our HR director. We're excited to have somebody that is certified and able to put together policies like this for our review and consideration and approval. Any comments from the residents present? If there's no more comments, we'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Last item of business, resolution number 24-1744, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Red Bank, Tennessee to approve award for a professional engineering firm to provide NEPA, design, right-of-way, and construction, engineering, and inspection on the Red Bank Bicycle Boulevard project, identified as TDOT PIN number 135374 to Barge Design Solutions. Community Development Director Johnson.
Thank you. Just give you a little bit of backstory, more so for the audience that may be listening tonight. We missed it during the work session. Back in 2021, the city authorized the application for a CMAQ grant which is provided through TDOT in the context of seeking funds for the design and construction of a 2.2-mile Red Bank Bicycle Boulevard paved connector in order to provide a safe bicycle route and as part of a shared roadway concept parallel to Dayton Boulevard. In January of 2022, the city was awarded the grant, and of course, by resolution, the city did accept the grant award. Unfortunately, there shortly after, we were notified that funding had been stalled, and we didn't anticipate funds to be released until upcoming 2025 year cycle. Understanding a lot of that money does come down from the Federal Highway Administration to TDOT. There's a funnel system it has to go through. But we were put on hold after that potential notification. However, back in June, July of this year, we were notified that the funding had been released and that our grant project was once again to go. So our next step was to immediately ensure compliance with the consultant selection policy requirements of TDOT contracts and to release our own RFQ solicitation for statements of qualifications for professional engineering services that are also vetted through TDOT and approved services. So again, there's a lot of stitching that has to happen to get them on board. We have done that. We did solicit the RFQ recently. We received 6 well-qualified submittals, and through a very thorough evaluation process, Large Design Solutions did rise to the top, and that is the recommendation this evening before you to approve a scope of work for them to submit. Again, to submit that contract back to TDOT for their blessing, their approval, to move this project forward.
Now, one thing we did not talk about at the work session is the route. So we've said, parallel neighborhood streets parallel to Dayton Boulevard. But just for anybody that's not already familiar with this project, that's been kind of, like she said, floating around since 2021. The route proposed goes from the entrance to White Oak Park, I believe, up Linden Avenue, up Reading Road, and then all the way to Bank Street, past Kids Corner Playground.
There's some crossover, I think, on Culver, and there's a gap, I think, because of the railroad there.
And that's where the engineer comes in place to help us lay out these designs.
Sure.
They will do some NEPA, they'll do right-of-way evaluations. But yes, what you're describing is what was initially proposed as a concept,
Right.
Which may change. So I'm not gonna, headstrong on saying that's exactly what that route will be. It's subject to change.
Well, the route proposed,
Correct.
initially proposed route,
With the intent to connect White Oak to Kids Corner.
Right.
That is the original goal.
the connection. I do know I've talked to a lot of neighbors lately on both Linden and Reading who have concerns about, and this has been for a long time now, have concerns about speeding, about pedestrian and bicycle safety on those roads because they are extremely popular roads to bicycle and walk. But they are also really popular roads to bypass stoplights on Dayton Boulevard and blow through really fast.
And one component will be safety measures. How do we calm some traffic where we're already going to identify where we want to see bicyclists to venture? So yeah,
Right.
traffic calming will come into play.
And where bicyclists already frequent, making that route safer as well. So now it's a race to find out whether the bicycle boulevard or the TDOT restriping should end up being the first actual bicycle infrastructure in the city of Red Bank. It's
I'm not gonna
a snail
put-
race.
I'm not gonna put numbers on it.
We're putting TDOT versus TDOT. We're gonna paint little numbers on the shelves and see who wins.
We'll make it.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Move.
We have a motion from Vice Mayor Dalton. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Wilkinson. Any further discussion?
I've noticed there's not a number on here. There's no,
Correct.
okay.
Correct.
Can you explain to the public, because I'm sure I already know. Yeah, maybe I don't, okay.
When we talk about complying with proper vetting for professional engineering and contracted services, a qualification is we're looking to see, is this the firm who has the most experience, knowledge to help us achieve that goal? Typically RFPs, which is a proposal, if you're going to, install widgets, well, we want the best price for a widget, right? When we're talking about professional contracted services, we want to make sure that the firm we work with is the best poised for that job. So that's where they get to present their best foot forward for us to evaluate. Then they will come back with what their scope of work looks like and what that fee schedule looks like. So then we have a better understanding of what cost it's going to be for the firm as well as for anticipated construction costs. Then we'll do the design and it'll give us a ballpark. We know what it's going to cost to actually have this project come to life.
Mr. Stolz?
And even the engineering contract will come back before you for approval of an amount before a nickel is spent.
Correct.
Kind of like all of our money.
So there's actually no dollars associated with this vote today.
Correct. No dollars are associated with this at this time.
Okay, because it'll come back to us once there's money assigned,
Correct.
A
We'll
price.
receive again
Once it has a
scope of
price
work and
tag on it.
schedule. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm putting it in layperson terms. I appreciate your using the correct terms, Ms. Johnson. All right, any further discussion? Okay, any comments from the residents present?
And Wheeler 427 Antelope Trail. I just have a question because we can't hear in the back. Evidently, this is not working.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is TDOT absorbing any of the cost of this?
80%.
80%. Thank you, Ms.
80%.
Johnson.
80%. So the city of Red Bank will be paying the 20%. And we don't, I did hear correctly, we don't have numbers yet. Dollar signs.
Are you comfortable answering?
I'm very
Ms. Johnson?
comfortable
Okay.
expressing this one.
Okay.
So the grant contract itself has no numbers associated
Tell
with
these
it.
people. Seriously.
Yeah, we're trying to- we're-
That road,
And we're trying to get the microphone so that people watching from home as well can hear.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
sorry.
I thought it was.
There you go.
There we go.
You have to be very
Well, I
close.
apologize. Yes, because it is a CMAQ grant, there is funding that has been allocated up to a percentage or up to a dollar amount. I don't have those exact numbers in front of me, but the 80% comes from TDOT, 20% comes matching from the city of Red Bank, and if I recall, approximately $140,000 is the cost to the city. TDOT will pick up the rest.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Ms. Johnson.
I will have those exact numbers for you at the next meeting when we present a scope of work to onboard a consultant firm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments regarding the bicycle boulevard?
May I make one additional comment?
Please.
It gets to be alphabet soup. CMAQ is congestion mitigation air quality. So it really isn't a transportation grant. It is a air quality grant, which is a different flavor of federal money that comes down to us again through the TPO. And so this is sort of a non-typical way to fund, but it's one of the many interesting opportunities that the city has taken advantage of to bring funding to meet our transportation goals. So that's what CMAQ stands for, congestion mitigation air quality.
Thank you. There are a lot of acronyms involved in this work. All right, any other comments for the Bicycle Boulevard Award? Okay, if not, we'll go ahead and call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we have reached the time for citizen comments for items not on tonight's agenda. Mr. Graham?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time for citizen comments. Please observe these rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes or less, and the city recorder will operate a timer visible on the dais. Please respect her direction and conclude any comments if time expires. Comments should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to a particular commissioner, the city staff, or to the audience. The commission is here to listen, not to respond or engage in back and forth, so please do not expect to reply during public comment. At this time, citizens are invited to the podium to comment. Please begin by stating your name and address.
Okay. If there are no citizen comments, then do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Wait. We have one.
Somebody else volunteered to talk before me.
That's okay.
Abby Schwartz, 48 Tennis Agro. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say, I posted this on social media earlier today, but I had a chance to walk the trails behind Alpine Crest with my dogs the other day that the Master Gardeners of Hamilton County have been working on all summer and even last year. They've been working really hard. And it's just a delightful place to be. It's a small trail because it is, you know, it's at an elementary school, so little kids do little trails. But also my dogs are little and they're in terrible shape, so it worked really well for us. And you know, the whole property there, we all know how gorgeous it is, and the arboretum and all the birds and everything. But I just wanted to say, now is a great time to go take a short hike over there if you're interested in seeing it, because temperatures are great, leaves are changing, and Alpine Crest in general is a nice place to walk around. So I just wanted to put that on the record. Thanks to the Hamilton County Master Gardeners. Don McKenzie, resident of Red Bank, is a big part in that too. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Swartz. Any other comments for items not on tonight's agenda? Okay. And I hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Phillips. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Vice Mayor Dalton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
See you
Thank you
November.
all.
Hey, vote early, vote often, vote too.